G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James. Really quickly, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome if you're new. Very quickly, before I start this video, I'm going straight into the vlog section of this one. It is as we were leaving, well, it's the days we had in London where I was kind of sick, and then it goes into the Eurostar back to Paris, and then Disneyland Paris Pride. So you're gonna see all of that in this video. Hope you enjoy it, and then I'll get to the journaling after the vlog. Okay, bye.
I think that I'm going to hiding somewhere by a gated star. Baby, they ain't never gonna find me. I'm a renegade. I could be the one who saved you from this place. We could be as one and we'll escape. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside. Take away the pain, we can go insane. I can feel it, it burns inside me. We could have the world to ourselves, going to a place that's far, staring at the stars for hours, 'cause you're a renegade. I could be the one who saved you from this hard place. We could be as one and we'll escape. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside. Take away the pain, we can go insane. I can feel it, it burns inside.
There we go. How was that? I just watched that through so I could kind of refresh my brain as I speak to you in the voiceover. I'm just going to play this for you. It's a touch sped up, but I cut out all the in-between parts where I was like deciding things because, you know, I've been trying different formats for this series. I think we're at episode 8 now, and maybe every episode has been a little bit different. I just keep trying things. Anyway, I do want to show you the whole thing come together, so this has been keeping it fresh for me too, just kind of changing the format of it every now and again. Pardon me if you hear like a little, I have like a really dry chest right now. The change in weather around here has been pretty significant, and even though it's not allergies today, there's like a really dry cough that I have, so you might hear that. Anyway, getting into it, so this part of the journey, it was a bit of a hiccup. So Steve got really ill when we got to Paris, and we ended up taking a whole day off because we felt like we had the spare time at the start of the trip to do that, and he was really just not really able to go anywhere. He just needed to be in bed for the entire day. So we wrote that day off. I did a lot of journaling and a lot of just, you know, sitting around and eating. And then after we got finished with that first leg of Paris, when we got on the Eurostar to go to London, I started feeling a little bit sick on the Eurostar. By the time we got to London, I was like very sick. And then we couldn't check into our hotel. I don't know if I've explained this in the last one, but in essence, we went to Boots, got like tons of just stuff to feel better, and then we did that Warner Brothers tour, which was massive, like 6 hours long. Massive. Totally worth it. I can't even imagine how much fun I would have had if I was like fully with it. I know I looked kind of with it in the videos and the photos because I really pulled myself together at those points, but yeah, I was like a walking zombie walking through that. But I did have a wonderful time there. So then this is kind of picks up after that when I just got way too sick to do anything. So once we checked into that hotel, I just kind of stayed in there. The next day we had a showing of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is wild. If you haven't seen it and you have an opportunity to go see it, and you can see it in the 2 parts, because I don't really know what they've cut out of the one that's all in one part, but this in essence was like a 2-hour play, and then you had a break, and then you came back the same night for the next 2 hours. So the intermission was kind of long, so you could go and eat and come back. But yeah, it was like a whole day event. Again, I didn't feel too great, but it was an incredible stage spectacle and very magical. I might have Steve. I'm going to start playtest 3, maybe by the time you see this. No, maybe the next day. Anyway, January, we're starting playtest Patreon 3. I want to do a podcast where Steve and I chat all about our travels in 2022. So we'll do Paris, London. Hopefully he can share more of the magic of what that is, because he's so well versed in musical theatre. It's technically a play, but it is kind of like a musical. They have these kind of dance intro, outro, like segues into things, and it's Imogen Heap music, which was wild. I didn't know that, and I didn't know much about it before I went, but it was totally worth it. There was so many great things playing on the West End. We were really spoilt for choice, but I felt like because this is where that, I think it originated there, and it was still the original like 2-hour split show. I wanted to go and see that while I had the opportunity. And with a British cast, I felt like, pardon me, I wasn't going to have any accent struggles. I've seen a lot of Australian shows with some accent struggles, and it can be hard to kind of get into it, especially if you've got like a preconceived idea about what it should sound like. So anyway, loved that. Really, really impressive. The next thing we did, Steve eventually went and met up with 2 friends that I didn't know they were going to be there at the same time. So he went out for dinner. I stayed at home and tried to drink and eat as much as I could to feel better. And then we just kind of chilled in bed and watched British TV all night, which was very interesting. You know what I love? I love Gogglebox, and I watch the Australian Gogglebox, but the UK version is really fun too, and they have a celebrity Gogglebox. If you don't know what it is, it's a show about people watching TV shows, and it's real life people, and they film them kind of reacting to the show, and so the show is about all these reactions of all these different families and friend groups, and I just think it's so hilarious. I love watching it. I also watch reactions on YouTube, so it's kind of, I just kind of like getting into other people's brains and thinking like, oh, I think like that too. So anyway, that was really, really fun. Just kind of chilling in bed watching telly. Then the next day, again, it was a bit of a write-off for me. I was kind of feeling a bit better at that point, but not really. So London was just I just did not feel great the whole time. So it's kind of sad, but I still managed to go and do a lot, which was nice. I just didn't feel great doing it. But I also didn't complain. I was very like, go with the flow. I was very slow. We went to see Cabaret, Moira Rose. We saw the new version at the KitKat Club, and that was a wild experience as well. I'd heard about it, and I'd seen I think, was it Tony's? No, Olivier's? Someone's performance. Amy Lennox, I think, was the Sally Bowles, and she was incredible, like just so good to watch. That was another, there goes that car, my exhaust friend. There was just something so incredible about that show and the way it was done, and the whole experience really. You had to put these stickers over your camera on your iPhones and whatever devices you had, because you weren't allowed to take photos or videos inside. So it was very underground, very secret, very like secret club. They kind of gave you the whole experience. Like when you walk in, you actually walk through, I think it's the stage door, and you end up going down through the backstage area to kind of get through, and they've made it look like this underground club, and they have atmospheric kind of dances as you go in there. Steve might talk more about that when we do the podcast, but yeah, I thought it was incredible. And we were sitting, it's like He'll tell you, maybe. But we're sitting in this part of the theater where we're just kind of like looking down onto it, because the seats right down in front of the stage were like $600 each, and Steve was trying his absolute best to get me to purchase those seats. But I was like, I will settle for the $300 ones. Like, that's also really expensive. Like, it's fine. But I mean, totally worth it. Very, very incredible show. I loved how they staged it. I love how they costumed it. I love how they cast it. And originally, so I think when they put up that new production, Eddie Redmayne was the MC, and he was in the audience that night. So in the intermission, when people were like dancing around and everything, they pulled him up onto stage, and everyone was like, he's here. So yeah, that was pretty interesting, pretty cool little fun fact. And then of course everyone goes to reach for their phone to record it, and there's stickers over their phone, you can't record anything. So yeah, it's kind of hard to share really what it's all about, but I was very taken away with the costumes. I got very inspired to draw lots of Sally Bowleses in through my journals from that point on, and especially the costuming was just so incredible. Very, very unexpected. I found there was a whole mint and maroon color palette that was going on that I don't think I'd ever really seen before, and it was very effective, especially with all the lighting and everything. It just was great. Loved that. And here's the best thing is, like, I'm not really a huge musicals person. I never really was. Steve introduced me to this world of musicals and why I should like them. And I think with his knowledge, he really helps me understand and appreciate why it is such a spectacle and what it's all about. So I have really grown to appreciate those experiences, and now they're some of my favorite things to do, especially when we travel to places like London that have a West End. Even when we go to Sydney, we still try to see what's on, but there was nothing last time, so couldn't see that. But there was, I think, was Moulin Rouge on? Yeah, Steve's like, yes. Moulin Rouge was on. It was dark the day we went to Sydney. There you go. That's why we didn't go, because we totally would have gone. We've seen it twice since we went to LA for my birthday, and then we went to the Sears Room when we came back from Australia, because we just love it so much. Anyway, that was that part. Then we got on the Eurostar and went back. Honestly, could have stayed in London for like an extra week. It was just, there was so much we wanted to do. And we were staying right in Covent Garden, so it was kind of walkable. And I really enjoyed it. I would love to go back, because I had so many friends that I wanted to see as well, but I didn't want to just be miserable in front of them and like be sick. So I kind of put it off and said, maybe I'll come back or you come to LA and we'll have a time then. But that was a little bit sad. So we got on the Eurostar, we went back, but we were really excited to go back to Paris because we had planned to go to the Disneyland Paris Pride. We didn't know too much about it, but I think Steve maybe came across like an Instagram or something or an advertisement, and that said Mika was going to be there. Now, Mika is, I don't know what you would, I don't know how to categorize Mika as like a character in my life journey. But I mean, I was a teenager when Mika, like at the height of Mika's stardom with all of his music, and I dare say I had that album on repeat for like ages maybe 16 to 18. I danced to every single one of those songs at the end of my mum's bed. Like, she would have her computer set up on my grand's old sewing table, and my mum would just be in bed and I'd be dancing to Mika choreographing dances at the end of her bed. That music is my teenage, it was me as a teenager. So I felt like, you know, I didn't know what I would feel like, but I really wanted to go because I was like, oh, it'd be fun to hear him in person. I actually thought that a lot of the music was maybe auto-tuned, or he wouldn't really sound like that. But we went there, and I'll kind of give you the rundown on the whole experience. But just to preface this, we had the best time. It was so much fun, and Mika was amazing, and it was exactly how I imagined it when I was a teenager. If I ever got an experience to go to a Mika concert, it was everything you would want in that experience. So essentially it was a ticketed event that was held at the Hollywood Studios part of Disneyland Paris. They have the Magic Kingdom park and then the Hollywood Studios park. And yeah, I mean, that park is kind of small. I think they've added a lot of additions to it now, like since we've been. I think there's a whole Marvel section. I think they're doing a Frozen land over there as well. So I think it's going to expand and be bigger. But historically, it wasn't known as one of the more interesting parks. But they do have a lot of entertainment options. I think you'd want to go to Magic Kingdom Park if you were going to Disneyland, but it is nice to jump over there. Anyway, so it was ticketed there. We paid for the extra tickets. And the first thing we saw when we walked in to the downtown Disney area was that they had like these free like little face paint glitter moments that obviously I had to go and be a part of. I'm not going to say no to free glitter. And then we went into the studios and it was packed. tons of people. I swear it was sold out, and they had a cavalcade, like a little mini parade where I think there were a lot of gay icon characters going through. Like Pleakley was really giving it, Edna Mode, Kronk. So that was really fun to see all of that. And then they had a lot of cast members just dancing along as well, very street, like flash mob style. So that was really cute. They had drinks there, which, you know, is kind of like a weird thing to think about at Disneyland, especially here at the original Disneyland. Like, people have a lot of mixed feelings about drinking. In Disney's California Adventure, you can drink almost everywhere too. So it's, to me, I just kind of put Hollywood Studios as like the DCA of Paris. Like, it's the more adult, like, go drink over there. But they had these like rainbow shots that you could buy. So Steve kind of stuck with that, and then I stuck with the beer because I didn't want to mix anything, and I could not see myself getting through the night with those like food coloring type drinks. They looked really sugary. Anyway, he loved them. I think he had about 1,000. I loved the beer. I think I had about 100. It was a lot. If you don't know, we both drink. I don't think I've ever shown that on the channel before. I don't think I've also hidden that, but it is a bit more of an adult topic, I guess. We were waiting for Mika. We did some rides. We did the Ratatouille ride. Honestly, like, it's cute. I don't know if I would have given it all the buzz that it has had. Maybe the one in Walt Disney World is different, but for me, like, it's one of those ones I'd hope the line was short, because if I had waited 3 hours to get on it, I might be a little bit disappointed. But the line was short, so I did enjoy it. And it's cute. It's exactly what you think it is. You're just shrunk down and everything's huge. So it's fun, but it's also kind of short. I had ridden Rise of the Resistance here before I did that, and that Rise of the Resistance one is like very impressive with the technology, so I think I did it out of order. I would have been more impressed if I'd done it before that one, if that makes sense. So yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have a little bit of sip of this. The coffee's not gonna help, but I just want something warm. My poor throat. So we did that. And then they had like a couple of headliner things. I think, was it Edna Mode? Did like a whole voguing thing. Amazing. Mickey and Minnie were out there. The president of the park the resort was out there just like mingling with everyone. Thousands of gays and allies just all having fun. And then Mika comes out, and it was like, I mean, we were teenagers again. Steve and I were just having the time of our lives, jumping up and down, dancing all night long, and it was 2 a.m. in the morning, and we were still going. And I mean, it's been years for me since I've been out like that, and we just had the best time. And we weren't even taking a cab home either. Like, we walked all the way home. We had so much energy. We were so excited. It was really, really fun. We told everybody, like, we have to go next year. We have to do something again. But I really think a lot of what I loved about it was Mika and just kind of being transported back in time. You know, it's not often you get to relive those teenage days, and that was a really kind of peak highlight of the experience for me. So that was that on that. I hope that kind of wraps up some of that. I want to get Steve on for that Patreon podcast to talk more about the musicals, because I think he'll have more insight to share that's a little bit more fleshed out than my insight. But then, yeah, everything you've seen on the screen, this was a lot of photos and a lot of just scribbling, but I did want to give like just a couple of minutes to some drawing, because I'm still inspired to keep drawing these Cabaret characters. I love that 20s vintage glam makeup, especially the really dark smoky gray eyes, and then erasing the middle part of the lid on the top and bottom, that halo eye effect. And then I wanted to do that mint and maroon palette, just to document that was a real standout color palette for me that I hadn't really seen before. I didn't get the colors quite right in this journal, but I'll be on the search for the perfect mint and maroon to use. And everything else, yeah, I felt like I got it documented in there, and it was a nice little summary. I tried to make all the Pride stuff as rainbow as possible, because I am, if nothing, completely predictable. And yeah, I love it. I had a great time. I hope you're enjoying the series. We don't have much to go. We only had like, I think maybe a couple days in Disneyland left, and then that will be the end of my travel journal series, but I have loved showing you every single part of this, and I hope you've enjoyed it as well. I kind of want to edit together all the vlog sections and just do its own video for myself, just to keep it around for myself to look back on in the future. You know, I like to do that on YouTube. But yeah, that is this episode of my Paris-London travel journal. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you again next time, and until then.
I think that I'm going to hiding, somewhere by a gated star. Baby, they ain't never gonna find me. never been